What's up, y'all? It's your boy Denim Jeans back at it again with another video. Um, Today there's no real specific topic that I want to talk about. It's just the NBA is crazy right now, and I know we were all talking about we as in like NBA fans about how the league is more competitive than we've ever seen than it's ever been. Um, Especially within the last few years when the Warriors had their dynasty. The Spurs had their dynasty going on back in the 2000s along with the Lakers. Um, But now you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. The 76ers are number one seed in the East right now, and they have like 5 losses. Um, this NBA is everything that like an NBA fan wants it to be. Um, you you don't know who's going to make it to the conference finals. Like you knew the Cavs were going to make it when they had LeBron. You knew the Warriors were going to make it when they had their big three, especially when they had Kevin Durant as their third person. And each year, like, yes, it was fun to watch NBA basketball because it's just one of the greatest sports in the world. But at the same time, in the playoffs came, right, you still like enjoy watching the game of basketball, but there's a sense of like, this is meaningless basketball because the Warriors are going to make it to the Western Conference Finals in the championship, and the Cavs are going to make it to the finals, and then they're going to go at it. Whatever happens, happens. But now there's so much parity in the league, and it's insane. The Cavaliers are in the playoff race right now. Yes, we're only 15 or so games into the season, depending on how many games you've played, because some have been postponed. Some play more than others. Some have played like 18. Some have played like 12. But I'm just really excited about this NBA season. My predictions don't matter anymore. I'm going to have to redo them now. Or at least like a little bit later, probably like around the halfway point of the season, after a few more trades go through, because the Rockets aren't going to be as good as I thought they were going to be, and the Nets are going to be better than I thought they were going to be, because of the James Harden trade. The Warriors, they're looking decent. They're like 8-6, 8-7 right now. And they were predicted by Bleacher Report to be the 14th seed in the West this year, and I have them being a playoff team, and I still believe that, assuming everybody's health. But man. I still think that there's like the top crop of teams in each conference. The East, you have the 76ers, the Bucks, the Celtics, the Heat. The Raptors are struggling right now, but I think they'll get it together, make it into the playoffs this year. You got the Cavs, who are looking a little surprising. The Knicks, I think, who are technically in the top 8 seeds right now, 14 games through. I didn't see that coming. In the West, you got the Clippers, who actually have the number 1 seed right now, followed by the Lakers, which was to be expected them to be the 1-2. But then after that, you got the Nuggets doing their thing. You got the Jazz up in there, the Rockets up in there chilling. But you don't know who's going to come out of that West. You don't know who's going to come out of that East, and that's so refreshing for the game of basketball. One thing that I have, like, not a huge problem with, is people's loathing of, like, the super team. But we don't have any of those right now. Their closest you could say is the Nets, because they did just acquire James Harden and have 2 top 10 players in basketball, along with Kyrie Irving, if he ever decides to come back. But even then, Collin Sexton just went off on their ass. They scored 140-something points. Granted, yes, it was in double overtime, but that's still a lot of points. And the Cavs won. Collin Sexton scored 20 points straight on their ass. So the defense is what most people thought would be the problem with the Nets, because they don't have great defenders on their team. They got rid of their best interior defender, Jared Allen. They replaced Karis LeVert with James Harden, who's never been a great defender. He was a steals leader, I think, 1 year, but I don't think that's necessarily indicative of you being a great defender, because I don't think John Stockton was a great defender, but he's, I think, the all-time leader in steals by like a good margin too. I'd have to fact check that. You can fact check me on that, but he's up there. But yeah, the uncertainty that I have this NBA season is bar none. And I'm really excited for it, and I hope you guys are too. I can make a prediction right now, and my thoughts on that prediction could change next week, um, tomorrow even. Like that's that's the beauty of the league right now, is that you just don't know who's going to do it. Um, and I really like the concept of the play-in tournament now, because I think that there's more than 8 teams that are like legitimate playoff contenders. Um, the 10th team in the East could be just as good as the 7th team in the East, and it's the like span of like 1 or 2 games that prevent them from making the playoffs. So you have a little play-in tournament, between those teams in order to determine like who gets those last couple of spots. But I think that that's really good for the league, because there's more than 8 playoff ready teams in each conference. I think it's about maybe like 10 or 11 teams in each conference that are like have legitimate um hopes to, not just hopes to make the playoffs, but like have players good enough and a team good enough to make a playoff run and make like a, not a deep playoff run, but like make a competitive first or second round um playoff series. So yeah, that's really all I got for you guys. I just want to talk about like how excited I am for this season of basketball, how crazy it's been, and how competitive and close it's been between all the teams. I think it's gonna shape up to be one of the most um surprising playoff like series of all time. A lot of people are gonna predict a championship that's gonna be wrong. It's probably gonna be like, oh, Lakers Nets. Wouldn't count on it. But that's all I got for you guys now. Peace.